Today we're going to be going over some cheap clone fragrances that last way longer than the original. And in all of the cases here, of course, the original is much more expensive than these clones. And so dollar for dollar, you're coming out pretty good on this end of the deal. And don't get me wrong, all of these original fragrances, I love them. I have all of them. A lot of them are some of my favorites, but I understand not everybody wants to spend that type of money. Some more expensive than others, but still, you know, if you can save quite a bit of money and get a product that lasts longer and essentially kind of does the same thing, why not? Let's get things kicked off with one of my favorites, which is pretty expensive, although the price has come down. Roja Elysium, a favorite of mine, but if you don't want to spend, you know, $200 or so, you could spend about $35 and get FOMO Fragheads Asylum. This one is just about spot on to Elysium, and more so the Parfum Cologne, although this is an extrait concentration. And so Elysium Parfum Cologne and then Elysium Parfum, a bit of a difference in smell, mainly being that the Parfum is a bit richer, if you could believe it. This one kind of is going more so after the Parfum Cologne, I think, but given the level of concentration, it's kind of more or less a hybrid, like a mixture between the two. Neither here nor there, it is a really, really close representation of Elysium. It is shocking how close it really is. I mean, the accuracy is incredible, and the performance is amazing as well. For me personally, I've never had too much of an issue with performance on Elysium, either the Parfum Cologne or the Parfum. It's always done well for me, and that was one of the reasons why I have loved the fragrance so much over the years, because it performs good on me. I love how it smells. And so not so much an issue for me. I have seen plenty of people say that the Parfum Cologne just doesn't last on their skin, and they can't fathom spending that much money on something that doesn't last. Totally understandable. You shouldn't have that issue here. This one is very strong. It's an easy 10, 12 plus hour performer. It's rich, it's full bodied, and I already touched on the price, but it's under $40 for this. And Elysium itself probably doesn't need to be described, but just to give you a quick rundown, it's basically all about the vetiver and fruits and citruses. There you go. You got a bunch of apple, bergamot, grapefruit, blackcurrant, all of those general fruits and citruses that you see all the time, and then a pretty heavy dose of vetiver to give it this kind of clean, fresh, slight soapy woodiness. It's a very versatile scent that could be used for anything, and mostly for me, spring and summer. That's kind of when I'm trying to wear this one the most, although it could easily be worn in fall and winter time as well. And in the case with this clone here, the performance would help it to hold up in the cooler times of the year. Okay, let's go for Genuine Man Reserve, Giovanni. Well, I guess I probably said that out of order. Giovanni Genuine Man Reserve by Fragrance World. You know, you get the point. Probably looking at the gradient and the name, it's giving you a pretty good idea what this one is going after, and it would be Gentleman Reserve Privé by Givenchy. Now, this is one of those instances where the original isn't outrageously expensive. Personally, I think the original is reasonably priced for what you get in return. It's at this point usually around, it's under $100, and I want to say sometimes you could get it for, you know, 70 maybe for 100 ml, somewhere around in there. I know sometimes you can get the giant bottle for a really good price per milliliter as well. But the point is, you're under $100 at this point, and that's not that bad in the designer world these days. And so this one usually is going to be around 30. Still a big savings there, but not as big as some of the others, for example. However, there is still money to be saved, and you could take that money and put it somewhere else, whether into other fragrances or into, you know, things in real life that matter more. But, you know, for a lot of people, that's something that's important. And what I like about this is the fact that you still get a premium product. This is something that smells very close to Reserve Privé. It has that chestnut, it has the whiskey, it has the iris. It basically has everything that makes Reserve Privé bottled into here, and it has great performance as well. This one comes in at an eau de parfum concentration. I've never really had an issue with performance on Reserve Privé either. I don't know if people have, maybe somebody has, but it's always been good. It's not something that I would consider to be beast mode, but it's something that definitely is very reasonable and will get you through the day. And same thing with this. It's a good strong release that isn't just going to fade away after a couple of hours. I mean, this will easily get you through the entire work day or school day or whatever, and probably even keep going into the evening. So definitely no complaints there. A real nice, strong, accurate release. Now this next one is a clone of a discontinued fragrance that I absolutely love. And while I'm sad that they discontinued it, actually there was kind of two of them that smelled similar that they discontinued. I don't feel as bad knowing that I have this clone, which is just about spot on. It's Fragrance World Feroce Pour Homme. So that color, again, they're pretty calculated when it comes to their releases. Sometimes the bottle will be accurate, other times not so much, but the coloration might be. It's a Light Blue Forever clone, okay? And so it was Light Blue Forever and Light Blue Italian Love. Two of my favorites from Dolce & Gabbana, and especially from the Light Blue lineup. They did those right, and talk about something unique and different and exciting. I mean, those were it. But they didn't really fit the bill for a trendy, popular style designer scent, and so they both ended up getting discontinued. And as I mentioned, that sucks, but this one is so close. It has that sour grapefruit smell down to a T, and that is what made those fragrances what they are, is that pungent, sour, bright grapefruit note that smells very realistic. There are going to be people who simply do not understand the hype behind this. I mean, I saw it with Light Blue Forever. I saw it with Italian Love. Part of the reason why they got discontinued, because not everybody resonates with those. For me, that's exactly what I was looking for in a summer scent. Finally something new and exciting and different, okay? And that's what this one has. It is very close. It is almost hard to tell them apart. I think I could, especially side by side, blindfolded and such. I think I could, but other than that, man, they're very accurate. Most people would not be able to tell a difference. Aside from the grapefruit, you have a bit of violet leaf, kind of giving it this watery smell, this ozonic note, which gives it more or less a texture like this airy, bright texture. But again, grapefruit is the star of the show. And this one it has summer written all over it. That is the time to wear this. Anything else, it doesn't feel right, although it could be done. All right, this next one, super high quality. It's one that I go back to all the time and think, man, if I didn't have the real bottle of what this is a clone of, I would still be perfectly happy with this. If I smelled it and then I went back to this, the quality is it's impressive. It is Al Haramain Amber Oud Carbon Edition, which is a clone of Creed Green Irish Tweed. I love Green Irish Tweed. I've got multiple bottles of it. I've got the newer style. Well, actually, I don't have the 100 ml, but I've got the 120 ml, which is the black bottle, the matte black. I've got a few of the older 75 mLs with the green kind of felt on the front. Some old batches, some newer batches, although not brand new, although I have smelled it because I sell decants of the new, so I guess I do technically have it. I digress. I have Green Irish Tweed and I love it. That being said, again, the price is up there, and this is so impressive that I would be just as happy with this, really. I mean, it has that strong lemon verbena, the hint of iris, that nice fuzzy bright ambroxan in here, or ambergris is what they kind of call it. But man, it has all of that. Everything about Green Irish Tweed is captured in this. And I think you're looking at around, it could be even like $50, maybe $60. So this is more expensive compared to some of the other clones in here, but it shows in the quality. It's not something that smells, kind of cheap or watered down or anything. It's quite the opposite. You're paying more, but it's well worth it. And you're still significantly less than Creed. It retails for $400+, but even discounted price, up over $200 for the Creed. Still huge savings to be had. And Creed Green Irish Tweed is definitely popular, no doubt, but sometimes it feels underrated, even though it's not. So many people know it and wear it, and there are things that smell similar to it, but it's such a timeless classic DNA that I just don't see it going anywhere. Same could be said about Aventus and stuff, but there's something special about Green Irish Tweed too that is it almost transports you to a different area entirely when you smell it. It's a really cool scent DNA that I think everybody should experience, and essentially you could experience it here with Amber Oud Carbon. All right, this next clone is another clone of a discontinued fragrance, which I love, and really weird scenario behind it, but it is what it is. It is Fragrance World Jack of Clubs. Now, what is this a clone of? Well, Blue Electrique, Lanui de L'Homme Blue Electrique by YSL. Which again was weird because they released it and then they discontinued it after not even a full year, I believe. And then it was always just a constant battle of every now and then it would pop up on discounters, it would sell out insanely quick, and then we would be left waiting for it to come in stock again. And it's been a while at this point. It's pretty much flushed out of the system. I don't really see that one coming back, at least in any sort of decent quantity. You know, it's pretty much done for at this point unless they re-released it. And to me, I don't see why they wouldn't make that a flanker that they keep around, because they've kept around some other L'Homme and Lanui de L'Homme releases that just aren't really all that good. They've kept them around for years. And yet this one, which takes you back to that original Lanui de L'Homme smell, they had no really, you know, they didn't show any interest in keeping that one around. It just has that vintage kind of rich cardamom heavy Lanui de L'Homme smell that we all love, and you just don't really get that same type of experience in new releases of Lanui de L'Homme, or new batches I should say, which is a shame because the stuff, it's wonderful. And if you've never experienced that OG Lanui de L'Homme smell before, you should, and you can do that with clones like this and even regular Lanui de L'Homme Blue Electrique to some extent. It was still a bit of a modern twist, but it still kind of went back to that OG smell. I do have a couple, you know, 4-digit first release bottles of Lanui de L'Homme, and I mean, it is a different scent altogether, just very rich and strong, but it just isn't worth hunting down and spending that type of money. Luckily, you don't have to with something like this. Okay, this next one is one of my favorites for summertime. This, but then of course, what it is a clone of that has also been discontinued, and that's what I love about these clones. So many of my favorite fragrances are now discontinued, which is a shame, but it happens. And normally I don't feature discontinued fragrances in videos because you can't buy them, and that's just kind of unfair almost. You know, why get somebody's hopes up for something you can't buy? But these clones make it a way that I can feature them, you know, because you can buy the clones, and the clones are close. It is Pandora Scents Amarist. Again, with the color, you know, Bulgari Aqua Amara. People who have been around for a while know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't, you know, go look way back on YouTube, and there are a ton of videos featuring Aqua Amara, a couple of which probably mine. It's something I love. Strong orange and seaweed and watery aquatic notes. It's salty, it's oceanic, but it's the orange, the type of orange mixed with this floral component that just smells amazing. And I did not like how Aqua Amara smelled at first because of the florals. It took me a while, but over time, as I went back to it more and more, I realized that there just wasn't anything else out there like it, and it really started to grow on me. And of course, just like anything, about the time I really started liking it, discontinued. Luckily, here within the past couple of years, they released this, which smells nearly identical. It's perfect for summertime. It's unique, it's different. It's not like everything else, but man, this is something that you can wear and you'll stand out and smell different in a good way. It's got great performance too. Aqua Amara always had good performance, but so does this one. All right, let's jump over to Moonlight Night, the one and only Moonlight Night by Fragrance World. It's a clone of Dolce & Gabbana, the one Luminous Night. Another example of just kind of an unfortunate scenario where Luminous Night was released as an exclusive edition, but then it went away quickly. You could get Royal Night and Mysterious Night for quite a while. I mean, for several years, those were on discounters. A little bit more expensive than regular the one, but still something that you could get. Luminous Night never was consistent. It would come in stock and sell out quick because it was very limited in its quantities, and then it just went away for good. Unfortunately, it ended up becoming a favorite of mine as well. Just kind of how it goes. It had this real nice, unique dates accord in it, a lot of sandalwood, nice sweetness about it, and even a hint of a smokiness. And then again, you couldn't get it. Luckily, Fragrance World, they cloned it and they did a really good job. Even the bottle, the coloration, everything is basically spot on. I've said it before, but if I were to just hold this up back here and be like, hey, look at this, you know, you might think it's the One Luminous Night from a distance before you finally look a bit closer and see that it isn't. But they did a good job, and the smell is also just as accurate and very strong. All right, we're gonna finish this video off with Afnan Terray Blue. This is a clone of Bulgari Tiger, which I have sampled numerous times, but yet never felt the need to make the purchase on a full bottle or a real bottle. Why? Because I have this. That's how close they are. You really can't get it on discounters, Bulgari Tiger. You can't really get any of those more expensive ones on discounters. So retail's the only way, and it's pricey. Again, having sampled it before and being able to compare it to this, I realized that this is so close, and even the quality is plenty good enough for me that this is more than good enough. And so what is this one about? Basically this and Tiger, they're really mature grapefruit scents. Grapefruit with a lot of amber. And you're probably thinking, you know, really it's just kind of based off of that citrus or whatever. That doesn't sound all that exciting. And on paper it doesn't. But when you actually smell this stuff, you realize that, man, there's a lot more going on. It's mostly that mixed with the amber and even a bit of patchouli that gives it this mature, rich, strong smell that just smells premium and high class. I think Terray Blue is somewhere around $40 to $45 for I think it's a 90 ml. It's an eau de parfum. It's a beast mode performer. It's something unique, mature, different for summertime. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some clone fragrances that last way longer than the original. A few of these originals are discontinued, and you can essentially get that smell into your collection for less. And that's what I love about these. Not all of them are discontinued, but a few of them are. And no matter what way you cut it, you're saving money here, and you're getting a great product in return. I will link all these down below if you want to do some shopping around and you know, wanting to get some of these. I'll make it easy for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.